welcome back. This is Fantasy Girl back in action, and today I'm actually going to be doing a run through of everything that they decided to put up for sale since the Digital Fan Festival. Now, if you haven't had a chance to see it yet and you don't know about all the special cool items that they have for sale, this is going to be a good one for you because I'm just going to go through all the merchandise that they have up and just going to go through a quick run through of where you can get them, how to get them, and exactly where to go from there. Okay, so first off, we'll just start off with the game itself for Endwalker. So Endwalkers, I think right now is already up for pre-order, so you can actually just go either to the PlayStation Store, eStore, or Steam, and you can go ahead and just put a pre-order down on that. And also, if you do pre-order now, you can receive these special in-game bonus items when the game does come out. So we actually have two items here for pre-ordering. One, of course, is a minion, the other is an accessory. So the minion itself is going to be the wind-up Poleum minion. So if you remember, Poleum was actually a character from Final Fantasy IV, and it's going to go along perfectly with all the other minions that we ended up getting from the fan festival. I'll go over those in another minute. Also, the second item is known as the Minfina earring. So this here is a very special earring. It's one of a kind that you can only get from the pre-order, and you can actually just use it to wear around with your character. I think it's really pretty. I really do am planning on going ahead and pre-ordering it just so I can get the earring. Okay, and then moving on to the special items that you can be receiving from getting the Collector's Edition. So this is going to be the Endwalker Collector's Edition. So usually at the beginning of every expansion, they have these special Collector's Edition boxes that come with usually like a figurine or a toy and like a wide selection of other kinds of artwork that is included. And this year it's no different. So with Endwalker, we have what's known as the Endwalker Special Art Box. So you can actually see the box here. It's got the beautiful artwork that they did, I'm guessing of Heidelin and Zodiac. It's really stunning. I love that image right there. But also it comes with the expertly crafted Paladin figure. So there we have the Warrior of Light dressed as a Paladin, and he's performing Passage of Arms. So that's this most special ability that we have from Paladin. It's probably the most famous one going on from right now. So that's definitely going to be a figure that's going to be included in the box. Also, we have the art collection and frame set. So as you can see, the collection of artwork here at the bottom, it looks like a collection from all the previous Final Fantasy games, and you can actually use that particular frame there to actually frame any one of them. After that, we have the Azim pen. So if you played through up to Final Fantasy 5.3, then you already know about what this particular crystal is for, and I really did want that. It's just, I love that whole idea. And finally, we have the Loporet's mini plush. So this here is going to be a tiny keychain of the little Loporet, which is going to be another beast tribe that's going to be introduced in Endwalkers. It's one of those little tiny rabbit people. So that's everything that belongs in the Collector's Edition. We also do get a couple special in-game items for each expansion, just special mounts and gear and maybe minions that are kind of mixed in just to make things a little bit more interesting. So here, for the Collector's Edition in-game items, we have 3 of them. So as for the minion, we have the wind-up Poleum minion, which is another character from Final Fantasy IV, and Poleum and Paleum, they are twins. So this is going to be the twin to Poleum if I'm doing the pre-order. We also have the Arion mount, which is the 6-legged mount that we saw during the fan festival during the special release. You actually can see me freaking out over seeing this beautiful mount, and it looks really good with the Paladin. And finally, we have a special weapon, which is the Death Scythe. So this here is actually based off a model from Final Fantasy XI, and it's going to be a special Death Scythe in honor of the brand new job, which is, of course, Reaper. So how do you end up getting these particular items? Well, good question. So we have the list right up here. So first off, we'll start with the Endwalker Collector's Edition, which is at the top. So this one here is specifically for Windows and Mac users. So people who are on PlayStation won't be able to use this particular order. It will not be able to work for them unless you have Windows or Mac or Steam or one of those. So If you go for that one, that will go ahead and just order everything for you. Everything including the game, the pre-order items, the in-game items, the collector's box, everything is going to be involving the Endwalker's Collector's Edition. But again, keep in mind that's really only for Mac and computer users and for Steam users. As for the second option, that's the Endwalker Collector's Box. So this here is going to be specifically for the box only. So it won't have the game or any of the in-game items. So this is just for the physical box that I mentioned everything before. And the reason that they're doing this is because if you download the game, there's no way that you would be able to actually get the box items. After that, we have the Endwalker Digital Collections Edition. So this option does not come with the box, so no physical items at all. It will just come with the game, as well as the 3 digital items that I mentioned before, such as the mount, the minion, and the death scythe. And finally, if you just want to order the game, you don't care about any of the special digital features or the box or anything else, you go for the last option, which just includes the standard edition. That one is just specifically for the game itself with nothing else. So those are everything for the lineup for Endwalkers there. So that's everything that's going to be on pre-order for the specific game. So yeah, that's everything for the Endwalkers game, the collector's edition, and everything. So that's everything that you should probably need to know when ordering these specific items. So moving on to the rest of the merchandise, we will start with the Citizen and Final Fantasy XIV collaboration watches. So as I'm sure that a lot of people here know, or if you don't, Citizen is a very famous watch company, and so they have designed 2 special watches that are themed after the world of Final Fantasy XIV. So we have 2 different watches here. We have the Light model themed after the Crystal of Light, and the Darkness model themed after the Warriors of Darkness. So both of these were designed under careful supervision of our development and operation teams, and both models feature a very simple but elegant design that you can wear anywhere. You can actually enjoy a taste of Final Fantasy XIV just about everywhere that you go. Here, of course, is the first one, which is based off the Crystals of Light. So it's a white watch that has a crystallized face, as well as you can see the little emblems of the 12, like we have the gods of Final Fantasy XIV actually used here, and it's a gorgeous watch. It's really pretty and probably my favorite out of the 2. As for the second one, it's not as pretty, I suppose, as the other. It does have some features that the first watch doesn't. This is based off the Warriors of Darkness, and it looks like we have all across the face here emblems of the gods used instead of the numbers. So yes, we have 2 different watches, light and dark. You can decide which ones that you would rather go with, because both of them are currently up for pre-orders right now. Next up, we have what is known as the Fender and Final Fantasy XIV collaboration. So we actually get a couple collaborations here. So this one is Fender. It's an iconic American guitar manufacturer, and it's celebrating their 75th anniversary, so good for them. And they're going to be holding the special collaboration with Final Fantasy XIV, and they are planning various collaboration works ranging from like a real-life electric guitar, and they're even adding like a new instrument for Bard's performance, and even a new indoor furnishing item. So for this one, here are some pictures of what it looks like. It is a gorgeous guitar. I myself really don't know how to play electric guitar, but even I can appreciate just how stunning it is. It's going to be a Stratocaster. It's a vintage style hard case featuring the Final Fantasy XIV logo, and it also comes with an original certificate with the 14 illustration card. Now the price here is a little bit steep at $3,499.99. Unfortunately, the pre-order schedule is not able to come out right away. They will be able to start taking pre-orders in for the America, EMEA, and Australia in probably late 2021, so probably around the time that Endwalkers comes out, and it's not scheduled to really be shipped out until early 2022. So probably by this time each year, anyone who does pre-order the guitar will probably have it. However, even if you can't get the guitar in person, you can still get it in the game. So here we actually have an update for the performance mode for Bard, scheduled for Tuesday, May 25th. They're going to introduce the new electric guitar instrument to your performance mode. So adventurers across the realm will be able to play with an electric guitar. And this also has a feature which will allow you to switch between clean and distorted tones, and players can also enjoy special performance features for the guitar, including pick sides and mute effects. So I don't know too much about playing guitar, but I'm sure that a lot of musicians out there are going to have a lot of fun with this. And finally, we do have a special furnishing, which is the Ether Electric Guitar. And it's a new furnishing designed to look just like the real life thing. And it's going to be available for purchase in the Manderville Gold Saucer using your MGP points. So don't know exactly how expensive it's going to be. I'm guessing it's going to be pretty high up there, so you better start saving now. Okay, so that's everything involving the guitar, the Fender and 14 collaboration. So I think that's the final collaboration that we had for the time being. So I think now's a good time to really go into the merchandise that we can get at the store. So they did go over a lot of these special items during the fan festival. So we'll start off with the music and book section. So here for the first part is going to be, so first off we'll start with the art book. It's going to be, I think, number 7 that they've come out with. This one here is known as the Art of Reflection, Histories Unwritten. So I love this picture here. We have an image of Minfilia and Reen standing together. It looks like, I'm guessing, they're standing where Eden is, so where the empty is slowly blooming back to life. So it kind of looks like they are standing probably where the empty is slowly coming back to like some semblance of what it used to be. So it's a gorgeous picture. They really did a good job on it. So this here is going to be covering a lot of work that was done in Shadowbringers. They already came out with the first one, which includes everything up to, I think, Histories Unwritten, probably sometime before that as well. Anyway, the point is that this is the next art book, and it shows showcase artwork for like Your High Dark Apocalypse, Eden's Verse and Eden's Promise, Save the Queen, and so much more. And this also includes a lot of detailed illustrations, including characters, equipments, dungeons, and trials, as well as messages from the artists. So here are some pictures down below. Just a very basic idea of kind of like the whole thought process that went into creating all of this artwork, and just the kind of inspiration that actually went through it. So you will be getting this book as well as a special exclusive bonus code redeemable for a wind-up Runar minion. So if you remember, Runar is a member of the Knights Blessed, and he's going to be simply adorable once we add him to the game. So that's everything involving the Art of Reflection. So we have this box. Go ahead and pull that up. So with the special set, it contains all 4 of the vinyl collections, including A Realm Reborn, Heavensward, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers. So these are just gorgeous illustrations for each one. Let's go ahead and just pull up everything here. So this here is just going to be the box in total. As you can see, it has the special image on the front, and I especially love the artwork that they put into each one of the vinyl sets. So we have one for each expansion. This first one here is for A Realm Reborn. We have Minfilia sitting in Revenant's Toll with Tataru, Servant T, and A Bright Sunny Day. The next one is for Heavensward, where we see Sir Emmerich and Lucia walking through the streets of Ishgard, and he notices these 2 kids, looks like a highborn and a lowborn, playing together, having a good time, having fun. And I just love that picture. He just looks so cute, and he just looks so happy and content here. I just love that. After that, we have Yugiri standing on top of, looks like one of the pagodas here in Kugane. She's with a hawk, one of her hunting hawks, overlooking a bright sunset. And finally, we have Emixelk sitting here in like the recreated version of Amarod. So these are all pieces of vinyl. They're all kept in like this special vinyl box, and you can choose to either buy them separately or just get the box all together. Personally, I would go for the box, if only to get the artwork. And I'm thinking about doing it. I really am thinking about getting that piece. So that's everything involving the musics and books. So let's go on to the job series items. So we actually have several items all together. So these are just special cases and just pieces of like everyday organizers, items that you can actually use in real life. And they have just the job icons, like the job icons that we have like from the job crystals in the game. So this first one here is a stole. It's actually it's like a scarf basically. After that we have an organizer, we have the foldable eyeglass case. Down here we have what is known as the key case, which you can hold all your keys. We have a compact wallet, and finally we have just a sling bag, or I guess a fanny pack, where you can put all sorts of wonderful devices in, like your controllers or something. Okay, moving on to jewelry, glasses, and more. So we actually have 4 items in this part. So the first one here is the book style storage box. So this here is a box that's, it's really just a box basically. So it has the image of the world of Final Fantasy XIV's map. It's just printed on the box. It's really used for storage. Mostly just keep like jewelry or items, whatever you want to, but you can just put into this box to keep it safe and hidden. Otherwise, we do have 2 different types of pendants. So these pendants are actually based off the Crystal Exarch's staff. So we have 2 different forms of it. One here is a small size, and then we have a slightly larger version, which is the Crystal Exarch's cane size medium. So it's a little bit bigger than the other. Jewelry on this site is always expensive, but that's just because it's really well made. And finally, we have the wine glasses. So we have 3 different sets of wine glasses that are specially handmade. So we actually have them in the forms of the Ascian sigils on each of them. So we have La Habrea, Emixelk, and Elizabeth. So we have the 3 unsundered Ascian sigils on each of them. So it comes with only 3 glasses. Hope you don't mind too much of that. Like even the box it comes in, it's like it has this beautiful silk in box, and it really is gorgeous because each one is just black like the Ascian cloaks, and it just has a sigil on top of it. And so I'm guessing like if you bring these out and you have somebody who doesn't know what the world of Final Fantasy XIV is, they are just going to be really impressed by what these are, but they won't have a clue what they mean, which is funny just to think about. Okay, so we are getting there. We're almost done. So next up we have figures and plushes. So we have 3 of those there, and we have 2 figurines as well as a plushie. So the first one is a figure of Oddbird. So this is him as the Warrior of Darkness. So you can see him dressed in all of his dark clothes. He still has the bloodstained battle axe on his back. And you can actually tell that this is really Oddbird because of the bloodstained battle axe. Like when Elizabeth was pretending to be him, I don't think his axe had those same bloodstains on it. And then we also have one in the form of the Crystal Exarch. So it's Grahatia when he was still the Exarch. So this is exactly like how he looks when he was in the first, including his staff, his crystallized arm, and all the details here are just stunning. I really do love and appreciate just all the effort that went into putting every single detail into each of these items. And finally, we have the Behelmeted Serpent of Ronka's plushie. So if you know about the Serpent of Ronka, it actually was revealed a lot, especially during the Kukurin Beast Tribes. We learn a lot about the Serpents of Ronka. And so this here is a cute little plushie of the serpent who's wearing a miner's hat. So that is really adorable, and I mean, you can't say no to a plushie. I don't know about you, I just can't say no to them. Okay, so that's pretty much everything. We have just one last thing to talk about, and that's going to be the acrylic job magnets. So these are all actually little magnets that you can put like on your refrigerator, but what makes them special is that each one of them is in the form of a certain job crystal. So we have every single job crystal that you can see here, and so whatever you main as, you can go ahead and just look them up here, see which one you want to get. They're at 5.50 for each of them, so they can be a little expensive if you try to order them one at a time, especially when it involves shipping and handling. So if you want to order more than just one, I will go ahead and just order as many as you want, at least a handful at a time. So yes, that looks like pretty much everything. So that's everything that's going to be coming up as either as merchandise or special offers that are going on right now. Oh, we do still have one last important thing to talk about though. So this here is actually for a water bottle. So we have the water bottle promotion. So right now they're having a water bottle promotion. So it's going to last from May 14th to June 13th. So we still have about a month away. But basically, this is where you can earn a special N-Walker aluminum water bottle. And if you want to know more about this, you just need to go to the Logstone. But basically, you just have to purchase at least $120 worth of items before taxes and shipping and everything. You just need to order at least $120 of stuff, and you'll be able to receive the Endwalker aluminum water bottle. So it is available while supplies last. So if we run out, then too bad, you're out of luck there. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything. That's all of the special merchandise, special in-game items that we have up for sale right now, as well as everything including the collaboration events, everything on the e-store that's now up for sale. Now, again, keep in mind that almost all of these items are on pre-order, so I guess you're just going to have to wait a little bit longer before you can start pre-ordering. However, for pre-ordering for Endwalkers does seem to be up right now, so you can go ahead and get a head start there. So yeah, I guess that's going to be it for right now. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you all enjoyed it and you had your eye on some special items. For some of these items, please keep in mind that they are available only while supplies last. So if they run out, then yeah, there's really not much that we can do about that. So until next time, everyone, take care and have a great rest of your day. Bye!